So we are live on. Eldred, first of all, I would like everyone, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first Introduction Ethnic Business Forum. And I'm delighted to introduce you to the Director of Program, International Postgrad Program in the Victoria University, Mr. Eldred. He is here today to share his vision and experiences of the ethnic communities, what it is all about. I'm also expecting the Ministry of Ethnic Affairs representative, Mr. Amrit Melant, who I have invited him on purpose, and he's just about to join.
Cool.
So we are going to have from them as well, we are going to talk about a little bit about understanding. This is an introduction meeting, so we're going to understand from each other, from the government agencies, from how we can engage with the ethnic communities that we are here, and how we can make and work together, basically. So we also have today the guest of honor, Eldred, here, but we also have Sunita Gautam, which I would like you to introduce as well, who is coming from Christchurch. So we have got people coming from different parts of New Zealand, not just Auckland or Wellington. So there you are. And we have got a different diversity of people seen in this forum. So the idea is to bring together from all over nation. So Sunita, I will just introduce you a little bit, but she will introduce herself. She has done a good PhD and a thesis she's doing on ethnics community. So it will be good to see us as well on the insights that she can give us and throw us. So this is a session where we are introduction session of our ethnic communities, but also business that ethnic communities are doing businesses, some startup businesses, some middle they have started and they are now stuck. We are all into a situation of COVID-19 where we need all support. So there is a separate support of ethnic communities and ethnic business and ethnic ministry that we can get some support. So we are here today to engage ourselves, and I will give you everyone to just introduce yourself with not much, but 15 seconds or 10 seconds, as we don't have much time, but we will still have got enough time to get the insights and talk about yourself, which business, where you come from, what business you are, and what challenges you have faced during this time, and what really you need the support, okay? So without further delaying, I'm just going to start with our guest of, yes, Jade. So we've got, hello Jade, how are you?
Good. I was just cooking, sorry. I'm just cooking and meeting.
Right. Okay.
Back home.
Okay, no problem. So we without further delaying, I will request the Professor, Director, Postgraduate Program, International Business, Victoria University, Mr. Eldred, to address and start the meeting, start this forum with his vision and his views on what situation we are here today to discuss and to talk about it. Over to you, Eldred.
All right, thanks, Silas. Thanks for, hello everyone, and happy to talk to you today, to share my thoughts, my experiences, and some of the ideas that I have, and also to bounce ideas, off of the collective knowledge that we have and the collective experiences that we all share. So I guess a bit about myself. So as Shailesh has mentioned, I'm the program director for the undergraduate program in international business at Victoria University. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but I've spent the last almost 20 years now out of Zimbabwe. 9 of those were spent in the US. That's where I did my Masters of Business Administration. I've lived in New Zealand since the start of 2009. I did my PhD here in New Zealand. I studied exports and international business. Since then, I've held different roles at various tertiary institutions, including ARA, Institute of Technology, Lincoln University, and now at Victoria University of Wellington. I was talking to Shailesh earlier on and trying to just provide a sense of, I guess, how I come into the picture. So I'm not an expert on ethnic affairs per se, but I guess what I bring is some knowledge and experience at two different levels. One is, well, because I've been an immigrant essentially in the last 20 years. I've spent, like I said, I've spent 9 of those in the US and 10, approaching 11 now in New Zealand. So I've got just real world knowledge and lived experiences of being an immigrant under different circumstances and different environments. And I can share that, happy to share that with you. But I also take an interest broadly in business. So part of my teaching and research portfolio includes international business and international entrepreneurship. And because I teach international entrepreneurship, I take a very broad interest in entrepreneurship in general, in startups, in helping businesses. Naturally, most of the businesses I work with are businesses that also end up doing, business outside of New Zealand. But I work with a lot of domestic businesses as well. So I guess that's how I come into the picture, my lived experience as an immigrant and also as somebody who teaches and researches in entrepreneurship. So I might want to start by just drawing your attention to some of the things that you may not realize, maybe 1 or 2 things as we open up, I guess Shailesh, right, as we open up sort of for a broader discussion. One of the 2 things that may not be obvious to a lot of us is ethnic communities or immigrant communities, are the various types of opportunities that might exist. I think the obvious opportunity for all of us, right, is to try to cater to an ethnic community, which may be our own community or another community. So coming up with products or services that we know, right, cater to that ethnic community. This might be based off of nostalgia, our knowledge of, the product that we grew up consuming in our home countries. And we notice that there's an immigrant population or ethnic population from our home countries or our home regions that may also have an interest in those products or services. So I guess for a lot of us from an ethnic background or from an immigrant background, that's almost the natural form of business to think about, to say, what is that product I grew up eating? What is that service that I grew up consuming? And is there an appetite? Is there a demand, a desire for that type of business? So that's the natural, I guess, way of getting started. But there's one opportunity embedded within that we often forget about. I think as the world becomes more connected, at least that's what we've seen in the last 30, 40 years, although the last 2-3 years might change some of our views around that. But what we've noticed as the world has become more connected, what we think is an ethnic food that applies or that appeals to our own sort of ethnic minority group can actually have wider appeal in a society or in a community. So think of the idea of an Indian curry, for example, right? We might think that that's an ethnic food, but not really. There's a broader demand to that, and it applies to a number of different products. So we got to start to think about that when we think of our businesses, our opportunities. Yes, the low-hanging fruit is to think about our own ethnic groups, to think about our own ethnic affiliation and what's familiar, what's acceptable, what we grew up with. But we also need to be mindful of the fact that there is wider appeal in terms of what our products and what our services can actually do. There's probably somebody born and raised in New Zealand who might have an interest in what you are doing because it's new, it's different to them. They want to learn, they want to understand, they want to partake, they want to be involved. So be very, very cognizant of that, especially if you are trying to find real growth opportunities. Sometimes our own communities are only so big, right? It's 100, 200, it's 1,000, but then there's 5 million out there. So you gotta think about that, that there may be or could be wider appeal. So that's one thing that I wanna touch on. A second thing that I think is equally important that we forget about, and I've started experiencing more of this over the last few years, especially because of the portfolios that I hold at Victoria.
Do you think it's naturally moving away? Huh?
Sorry.
Was that a question directed at me?
No, I don't think it was questioned. It was something disturbance.
Or it's just a disturbance in the background?
Yeah.
No worries. We deal with these all the time with Zoom lectures. So no. No worries there. So yeah, I had raised I guess my first point initially, which had sort of part A, part B, was this idea that an ethnic type business, we think it appeals only to ethnic communities or migrant communities, but there's probably broader appeal that you have to be mindful of and realize and see if you can try to appeal to extract. So that's one point. Another point that I was about to touch on that I say has sort of been, I guess, augmented or enriched by my experience at Victoria University. Is this notion of, because New Zealand is a trade-focused country, there's actually very great appetite from a policy making, and I guess we're going to hear from someone affiliated with the Ministry of Ethnic Affairs. Yeah,
yes.
So very great appetite from the policy making circles in New Zealand and also business circles of individuals who understand very well other markets, who are very, very well connected, intuitively connected with your market, wherever you are sort of originally from or what you identify with, for purposes of assisting companies to go international, New Zealand companies to go international, or for encouraging closer trade relationships. So some of my work over the last year and a half that I've started helping out the Africa New Zealand business, for example, and these things come up all the time where they say, okay, you know what, if you are a new business that's trying to get going in a particular country of the world, you probably want somebody who's got a knowledge of New Zealand and of that country. If you're trying to going in Saudi Arabia, well, the best skill set that you can get is somebody who is living in New Zealand or understands New Zealand and also understands Saudi Arabia. And a lot of us in these ethnic communities, in these migrant communities, we have that part of that skill set or background, and we may not even realize it, but it's a huge asset for a lot of individuals in policy making circles and in the business circles. So I don't want you to forget that as well. That on one end, you could be starting your own business and empowering yourself, growing, getting going with that opportunity. But it could also be a very good linkage, a very good resource, a very good facilitator or conduit for a New Zealand business, for a New Zealand policymaker who is trying to get to understand or be active or exploit opportunities in particular markets. So those are the two things, I guess, that I wanted to raise to get a conversation going, and I can come back to these as we continue our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eldred. Thank you very much. That was a good introduction in speech from you. Now I've seen that Amrit is here. Hi, Amrit. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Thanks.
Great. Now, Amrit is representative of the Office of Ethnic Communities, as I was telling you, Eldred. So he is here in that. Just look around and see what exactly we are, and we can shoot him some questions if you like, later, and see what we can get some insights. And we also have a multicultural person, labor from Dunedin, Lux here. Hi, Lux. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, Shailesh. Yes.
Hi, yeah. So Lux is here as well. Now he's from Dunedin, and he also holds quite a bit of a portfolio over there and does quite a bit of ethnic community work over there. So it would be good. And plus he's in the business side as well. So it would be a good mix of everything.
Yes.
But we also have Sashil over here, as he's from Wellington. So as you can see, we have got Christchurch, Dunedin, Wellington, Auckland.
Yes.
And then we have got Eliza, who is here as well. She's a representative of a few businesses and also charitable trust as well. So she does quite a bit of work in that area and in that space. So in the capacity of charities. And then we have got in the creation, art, cultural, like Jade over here. Hi, Jade, can you hear me? You're mute. Okay.
Hello.
Fine.
Hello.
So she's into this, but they will introduce a little bit about them. I know only about them, the different fields, which I want to highlight. That's it, that they are all from different backgrounds, different field.
Yes.
And it's good to see our ethnic communities doing all sorts of things in this country,
Yes.
which is what I wanted to just highlight. And there is Harsh Patel as well, who is also from Christchurch. He's into travel business. So again, it's a mixture of lots of things. And then we have got Shruti, who is a startup business, who's just started the business and the creative field, which is again technical. So like digital, multimedia, those kind of things. So again, so we have got all sorts of people over here, so we can understand where we stand as an ethnic communities and what is our voice as an ethnic community voice,
Right.
basically. It would be good to have a good insights now. So now I'm going to just hand over to Sunita to see what she can bring, and then we will have a little bit of introduction from each other. But first understand how ethnic communities, what exactly ethnic communities is, why we are here, and what does it mean. People who have done an intensive and extensive study of that, of our existence, she can throw some lights on that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sunita. You're on mute, Sunita.
This always happens, isn't it? Zoom
Yes.
classes. Kia ora,
Yes,
everyone. My name is Sunita Gautam. I am in Christchurch. So as Salish has mentioned that I am a PhD candidate at University of Canterbury. I have just submitted my final draft to my supervisors, so finger crossed. And hopefully by end of this month, I will be submitting my thesis. So my research area is immigrant entrepreneurship. And what I have studied is that I have created a framework, which is basically I have pulled out from immigrant entrepreneurship theories. And I have tested that framework in New Zealand. I have specifically tested that to an Indian entrepreneurs to make sure that my study finishes in time and the data, otherwise I would be floundering. Why I decided to go for this research, I'm living here in Christchurch from 2003, and especially after earthquake, the boom in the ethnic businesses has been great. And not only just which is visible, but the statistics supports that as well. And that sort of aggravated my interest into this area. And when I started researching more and more, I came to know that there is a lot of gap. So I've tried to fill that gap. Particularly, I am interested in knowing for someone who has been migrated, settled, so skilled immigrant. And often those skilled immigrant has been migrated on the basis of their jobs, or they have come as a student and then eventually landed job and become permanent resident. And then along the way, how they have pursued into entrepreneurship. So not as much of why or what, but instead of how. And in this journey of last 4.5 years, I have managed to talk to 50 immigrant entrepreneurs from throughout the New Zealand. But basically I have taken 35 of them and their stories into my research. Very interesting findings. But I will cut it short and talk about that what we are here for. What I have learned is that there is support. Of course, the system is brilliant because we all compare that from our home country. So for example, to register a company, it's an overnight 5 minutes job in New Zealand, rather than if I have to go and register that company in India. So these systems are in place, but same time, there are a lot of areas where our immigrant entrepreneurs need a set-up body where they can go to. So I also work as a volunteer business mentor with Business Mentor Limited Christchurch from past 2.5 years. So I mentor one-on-one clients and help them out. But I don't see immigrant entrepreneurs going and approaching or taking an advantage of these services. It could be language barrier. It could be the hesitant of coming across that you don't know something. So a lot of taboo is around, which I think we have seen those taboos back home as well, or among in our community. So what I am looking into, or what I can bring to this forum, is that a lot of those insights which would help us to understand that where the gaps are and how, because the person who tells you the problem often has the answer as well. So we just need to connect those two dots together. And if we have people like Sailesh and Kale here and many others who are in the right place and give those right direction to these people, the journey becomes smoother and smoother. And then from there onwards, I'd really like your idea of that ethnic product is not only just for ethnic market, it's got a wider prospect. And then we would be able to actually show or give that perspective to our ethnic entrepreneurs that they should not only confine to the ethnic group, they can actually look beyond that as well. So that's much for me. Christchurch has got a beautiful sunny day today, which we are happy about. And over to you, Sailesh, and lovely to meet you all.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sunita, for that insight. And yes, you are right. We just have to connect those dots, and that's probably why we are here, to how we can connect, how we can engage with each other. And I can see Amanda here as well, who is doing some great work in the community. Amanda Davids is quite active in terms of her being herself and showing herself in the community is quite good. You can talk, but when you do literally yourself and engage yourself, it's different. So I really know Amanda quite well, and she's quite doing online stuff as well, which is now moving towards online. So how we can engage. So we really appreciate Amanda. Amanda, can you hear me? You're on mute. Though.
Hi.
Yes. Hi, Amanda.
Evening,
Yes.
everybody. Unless you make me shy.
No. What's the truth? See, we are all here for representing our own communities as ethnic.
True.
But then we should also give a pat to ourselves when we are doing some great work or good work, so that people can take those positives and we can share those positives with each other. And that's why we are here, how we can engage ourselves and share the positivity. So yeah, I think I'll start with you only then, Amanda. Let's start with you and get some introduction. Not much, but 2-minute introduction, not even 1. 15 minutes, 15
okay,
seconds, 30
start
seconds.
the clock. Let's go.
On the clock. So introducing yourself and see where you come from, what business you are in, what's your background, just a little bit blur about you and what you do and what you would like to see as a more ongoing kind of seeking support in that regard, or how we can engage.
Okay, sure. Okay, well, so good evening, everyone. What a lovely call to be on. Thank you for inviting me, Sailesh. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I moved to New Zealand in 2002. And currently I'm working with Aotearoa African Foundation, which is a charity where we are setting up to empower fellow migrants with a particular interest into the African migrants, okay? But I absolutely agree with Surti and the Zimbabwean gentleman before. You know, when you look at ethnic backgrounds, you don't want to limit yourself, because I don't only buy Zimbabwean products and I don't only buy halal products, I buy an international range of products. So, you know, we definitely need to get rid of the idea that business mentorship for migrants or fellow Africans or fellow ethnic people is taboo, because you know what, there's so many people that have traveled this road before and can help us, and we can get there faster if we helped each other. So I'm absolutely totally up for that game. My background up till now before the trust was I was a nanny for 2 years. I've done some ESOL tutoring, administration, and then I'm a really avid network marketer and social media girl. I love being online and connecting with people. You know, whether it's about mindset and personal development, coaching, or even just exercise, get the body moving. That's my passion, to help people.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Next, Jade. Are you here, Jade? We can't hear you, Jade. You got to unmute.
She's cooking.
She's cooking. I can't hear you, Jade.
Hello.
Yeah,
I'm Jay. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I just turned silent because I'm sorry, I'm just running late today. back home. I'm Jade. I'm basically in Auckland, and I'm doing like culture, Chinese, especially for Asian culture and New Zealand culture exchange. And we have our music school at Auckland. At that moment, because looking down, the students are not allowed to go to school. We open an online concert. Mostly we have like a student from over the world, like from America, Europe, also Australia, New Zealand. So we want to build more relationship with out of our non-Chinese community, and we have a can exchange cultures, understand each other.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me,
Yes, I
Shailesh?
can hear you, Jade. Thank you very much for
Okay.
that introduction, Jade.
Yes,
You are doing
yes.
a wonderful job in the cultural, and she would like to expand into the other communities, which is great to see that.
Yeah.
So we can go to now Shruti, who would tell us something about you. And yeah.
Hello everyone. Good evening. So this is Shruti, and as Shailesh told, I've just started a company last week. So we are planning to provide the creative services like video production and for the corporate companies, as well as marketing content, and also the IT services like providing technical assistance, like organizing the meetings and everything. So as I'm just starting up the business, so I want to know what help can I get from the government and to support myself in smoothly running my business. So I think this is the right platform. So yeah, it would be great if you people show me the path.
No, that's good. That's good. And that's what we want to open up the startup companies who are shy or who shouldn't be shy. That's the reason why whole idea is how we can engage people together. I mean, you know, during this time so forums like that's online, you can still connect even if you can't do. So it's a good, I appreciate that you coming here as a startup business as well, showing your boldness. That's the first start, which is good. So yeah, thank you. Now,
thank you, Shailesh.
Yeah, so let's go to Yasir. Yasir, tell us something about you, Yasir. You're unmute. Unmute it. Unmute it. You are on mute. You're on mute. Can you unmute? Yeah. Yeah. Now
Hello,
we can.
everybody. My name is Yasir. I've been in business about almost 16 years. I have a small business at Stoddard Road, Mount Roskill. I've been running that business since then. So I import goods from Middle East and as well some other countries. And I got as well money remittance company. I'm running that two businesses. So we want some, we want some ideas, and we start from scratch first when we come this country, and we go hard way, and we want some expertise to assist us, what sort of government support we can get, what sort of business links we can get, and that's why I met Shailesh, and we discuss a lot, and we hope we'll get right way and shortcut in the future. Thank you, Shailesh.
Thanks, Yasir. Thank you very much. Let's go to Eva. Eva, are you there? Eva is there. Eliza?
I think she's on the phone call.
Okay. You can introduce Eliza.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Eva is here.
Yeah. That's Eliza here. I'm based in Auckland, and I used to own my own business and running the business in the last 10 years. And now I'm more concentrated on the charity part, and I'm the volunteer of St. John's as well. So I think that is great for people to have a platform to asking for help. And also what we can say is New Zealand is most like welcoming people for the immigrant who would like to open a new chapter for their life. And so what I can say is I think New Zealander is more open for our ethnic groups. But the thing is, it do have some valuation difference and the customer behavior difference back to our own country. So I think Shailesh, you're doing a good job. So provide a platform for everyone search for help. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's the reason why. But we want to encourage people to come and actually engage with each other. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And so, thank you so much, Eliza. Let's go to Eva.
Oh, hi. Hello, everyone.
Tell us something about you.
Yes, it's my pleasure to join this great meeting. I work in China, Beijing, for more than 10 years in investment business, mainly for the venture capital, especially invest on startup companies. And I moved to New Zealand 3 years ago and I work as a CFO in a trading company. And in that company, I know a lot of SMEs, small business, in New Zealand. And as a CFO, I worked in, a lot of auditing, even IPO, loans, tax. So I'm pretty familiar with all the, resources, how to, grow a small business to a middle size. And I'm currently working as a consultant for, I'm also looking for small business opportunities to.
Okay.
So glad to meet you everyone here.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks, Eva, for that introduction. Yeah, so let's go to Sushil. Can you tell something about you? Probably Sushil knows quite a couple of people here, but not many people know. So you can talk.
Sushil? Is that from my side?
Oh, you're echoing.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Sushil, if your phone.
It's echoing, Sushil.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's quite echoing. Anyway, something wrong. Well,
Shailesh, can I just invite you to consider if he's got two devices on, the microphone's echoing between the two devices.
I don't have a second device on. Just skip mine.
Yeah.
And just move on.
Okay. All right, let's go to Lakshman. Will Lux, you are there?
Hi, Shailesh. I am here. Just give me a second. If there's somebody else, please.
Okay.
Go.
Let's go to Venkat.
I'm just.
Venkat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm very much here. Hello, good evening. How are you all?
Yes, we are all good. Venkat, can you introduce yourself and see where you represent?
My name is Venkatraman Rajagopal. I'm a good family friend of Sushil.
Right.
I just happened to join all of you and to find out that there are a lot of entrepreneurs here.
Yes.
I always worked for entrepreneurs and made them rich, but I was never one myself.
So you are a maker. You are a creator of entrepreneurs. You create.
Basically, I've been in the hotel industry, and I've been a professor teaching hospitality and tourism. So right now I'm in between jobs.
Right.
It's good to see so many people coming on the screen, talking about their experience, etc. Back home in subcontinent where I worked in Africa, I worked in Middle East. It's a different type of entrepreneurial skills. For example, I still remember Colgate used to advertise calling entrepreneurs if they could open a small factory in a shed to manufacture toothbrush. They would give the necessary know-how and expertise. So multinational companies also franchise to people, but I do not know how that works in this part of the world, Australia and New Zealand. So for the time being, I'll just listen to all the young entrepreneurs, their experience and what they want. And maybe next time when I join you, I can contribute a little more.
Yes, no worries. Thank you so much for your introduction, Venkat. So yeah, as we can see, there are a number of businesses with different portfolios and different industries that they are in, and also some startup businesses that we can see. So, and let's open up a few things that, like in terms of your questions some businesses might have, since we have got here two experts. In fact, there are two experts and one person who can give us a good insight about the support and all. So let's start with our guest of speaker, Kahil, where we could ask him some businesses, what are your concerns or what are your challenges that you're facing currently that you think needs to be highlighted or needs to have some sort of answers that you are seeking to continue or to move further or to grow or even to stabilize yourself, I would say at this point, where people who have been in the business, but now all of a sudden they are finding that they cannot move further or they're stuck with some or the other concern. So let's see what sort of questions you have got for our guest of speaker today. And then we can ask to share that light some with expertise advice of Sunita, who can do something about that. And because she has worked with lots of ethnic communities and she's already working in that space, she might throw practically some experience that she can give us some insights. Yeah. So let's see. Anybody has any questions for our guest of honor today? I have some questions if nobody has.
This looks like our classrooms when we teach in university.
If you don't have,
no student asks questions.
I've got lots of questions if you guys don't have, okay? But yeah,
I have a question. Do you have a question?
Yes, see, Amanda has got, that's good.
I'll be brave and speak up. I'm sure we all have questions. Don't be shy,
yes,
guys.
Yes, if it's a stupid question, doesn't matter.
No question is a stupid question ever.
Yeah,
You know, I just think, so if we're looking at business, because we obviously all have either helped create someone else's business or are creating our own. And if we look at the growth and stability, in terms of our positions as people of ethnic background, I think quite often, my question right now is like, what support is there at a government level, or even if it's just networking with other people, where people can put us in touch with, you know, I think if I had not come on the call today, I would never know that Sunita does mentorship and is willing to look at ethnic businesses and work one-on-one with them. You know, like, where do we go to find this information? Like, can we register somewhere, or is there a hub? Because, you know, I mean, that's something that we even wanted to do with AAF. So yeah, is there a place to go?
Yeah,
where do we
good
find our
question.
mentors? Yeah.
Point of contact, huh? You need.
Brilliant question, Amanda. So you are in Auckland?
Yes.
Yes. So if you just Google Business Mentors Limited, they run under, here in Christchurch, they are run under Christchurch NZ. I'm sure in Auckland they would be similar, but it's a nationwide group. Sorry, I've got a light outrage. I'm in university, so sometimes sensor doesn't work. So and they have got pool of volunteers from different walks of life and experiences. What they do is that you go and register yourself. Subscription with them, either it's 6 months or a year, is very nominal charges.
Okay.
And they will pair you up with one-on-one with a mentor who has got expertise in your area. So my area of expertise is startups, education, because I've got a background in early childhood. I used to be about 8 years an early childhood teacher in New Zealand. And I have got a bit of experience in starting more of an import-export, especially in handicraft, that kind of business, because I helped out some people doing that. So if you pair yourself with them, they will help you out through the journey until you want. And it's between you and your mentor that how you meet periodically. It could be monthly, it could be twice in a month, depends on. And let's say, for example, there is a particular aspect of your business which your mentor can't help you out. They can go back to the pool of mentors and they can bring out somebody who can help you. So it could be a technical, like for example, IT, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So whenever I get stuck with IT part of it, I will go and ask the pool of mentors and they'll bring. So far in my 2.5, 3 years of journey with business mentors, I have been paired with pretty much mid-age group women, young women who are aspiring to be self-employed. For example, I've got a client who is a lawyer, and she goes around and gives her workshops to, for example, chambers of commerce or Spark, like big corporates. But then she's a young person who's starting a family, and so on. So what happens there is that you get a buddy. You get a buddy who can understand you not just on a personal level, but actually in the broader and technical aspect of business as well. So Chamber of Commerce is a good place to start, and I'm sure they would be people who can direct you in your area.
Thank you so much.
But you can certainly, Shailesh can share my details with you, and more than welcome to answer any question anytime.
Yeah, and I can see now, just now, Amrit from the Ethnic.
I'm going to share something. Yeah.
He has also shared the Business Mentors website.
That's right. Thank you, Amrit.
Yeah, that's the thing that we would like to understand for everyone, that there are lots of things that is there already, some of the things which may not be aware by many people.
And this is what has come up to my research as well. I've talked to so many people, and when I told that I am a mentor, and they're like, oh, we had no idea. So it's just one of those things where sometimes you are stuck, you are standing, you're in the car and you're driving to an IRD office, and suddenly you thought, oh, I need to really ask this question before I submit this form. So you can just call your mentor, and he or she can help you out.
Thanks.
So question for Eldred. Eldred, what do you think in terms of your, what you have been teaching in the university and what you have been as a position of your university, that there may be something that the people or the business community or the ethnic communities can actually access to or share some information that they already have? No, we can't hear you. It's mute. It's on mute. You are on mute.
Let me unmute it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, Eldred.
All right. So no, don't worry. You didn't miss anything. So I guess one of the underutilized resources out there that businesses don't realize are out there and very freely available is expertise within universities. And this expertise doesn't only reside in academics and research, it also resides in students. So just every university in New Zealand has got a program in either small business management, marketing, or entrepreneurship, just about every university. And a lot of these programs, increasingly, at least over the last 3 or 4 years, all of these programs are emphasizing the idea of problem-based learning. And what we call problem-based learning in academia is simply the notion of bringing in an actual industry problem into the classroom and saying, hey, here is where you can use your theoretical understanding to lend useful insights or to try to turn data into actionable information. So I've worked with probably 20, 30, perhaps close to even 50 businesses over the last 3-4 years. And we tend to do a lot of these research. We call it consultancy, industry consultancy research. We do this absolutely free of charge. Most universities will tell you that they do the same as well. So it's a very, very underutilized resource. Maybe some of you might have a question on how you get that going, how you build that relationship with the university. I can speak for Wellington in particular, where I've done a little bit of work with various stakeholders. So Wellington, the Wellington Regional Economic Development Agency, and it's a powerful, powerful organization in terms of its ability to try to link those, to try to talk to us, to talk to businesses, to talk to the greater Wellington region and find where these needs are and how to try to have those needs addressed. So they are very, very good at that, at trying to understand what business needs are and where businesses may be able to access resources, especially research type resources. So never hesitate, or never underestimate the role of that, what the role of that research might be. And a lot of it is around market insights as well. So if you wanted to understand the market better, if we go back maybe to our conversation of about 25 minutes ago, where we were saying broadly, hey, if you are an ethnic type business or a migrant business, well, there's still a broader community, a broader market beyond just your sort of ethnic bubble. If you want to understand that broader market, you probably need an element of that market knowledge and market research. And universities are in a good spot to do this. And a lot of them will do this in exchange for nothing, for just the experience for their students.
Yeah. So there is something, information available for free, accessible, which people can get help and people can understand how to, like even for startup businesses or even for businesses before they jump into, businesses, they can get some pre-information from the university, what you are suggesting, right? Basically.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So that's something Shruti can see as well, right? Learn from that a little bit. We also have here today, Ivanka has just joined us. So Ivanka, can you tell us something about your business, in something about that you think challenges that you are facing at the moment, or you would like things to happen the way?
Right. Okay. Well, as you know, I own a nutritional business, and I'm working alongside you. And so you're mentoring me, which is fabulous. Not only is he looking after my accounts, it's, we're coming up with ideas on how to basically bring in the revenue again, because during COVID, there was no money coming in. People were stuck at home. The core of my business is all about prepping meals and food prep, and it's all done fresh, and it's for people that that can train and be fit, but they also want to eat properly too. So we don't actually cook the food for you, we just prepare it to your meal plan. But on the flip side of that, we do lots of other things, like if you need a nutritionist, I can send you to a nutritionist. We will teach you as a family with small children on how to cook together as a family. Hopefully we'll be working with schools and helping underprivileged schools where children, some kids don't even turn up to school because they don't have any food at home. And so hopefully we'll be able to put in place a program which will enable kids to turn up to school, where we provide them with breakfast, but we show them how to make their own breakfast. And it might be with the most simplest ingredients, but at least these kids are getting food. So, like I said, some of them don't have any food at home, and that's partly the reason why they don't turn up to school, because they're embarrassed. We do shopping market tours where I can take you through the shopping market, and you can look at certain things that will help you save money when you go food shopping. There are certain days that are better to shop on, for example, where you can save heaps of money, anyway, COVID's come, it's basically hit my business, so there's no revenue coming in. So we're looking at other ways on how we can generate business. I just wrote on the, I just wrote in the comments there, there is a website that you can go to, which is very good for helping businesses. So if you check out NZTE, it's an online portal which will give you some guidance on regional business partners and networks. And they call it the RBP network. They support you in both business recovery and growth. And so, of course, a lot of businesses have suffered during this time, and a lot of businesses need help, like I do. So that's a really, really good website to go to if you want, you know, guidance on and resources and other support mechanisms there that might be able to help your business. There's also, I'm just trying to think of the website, I can't remember, but I'll find out for the next session. You know, if you need to rebuild your website, you can actually apply for a grant through the government. Not a lot of people know about this because they're not advertising it, obviously. I mean, there's lots of businesses that have closed down over this period. There are a lot of businesses that are still trying to keep afloat, like me and you and everybody else. And you can actually apply for a grant, and if your paperwork sort of is all okay and they can see that you're really struggling, there again, they supply you like with a mentor. They can help you get your website up and running, and the government basically pays for it over this period of time. But this is under the Labour government, so if the Labour government don't get in next month, you know, things might change. Although National seem to be wanting to help out, you know, small businesses as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're learning things every day, and just getting by really. For the time being. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Ivanka.
That's all right.
Thank you. Yeah. So what do you think, any tips for Ivanka Eldred or Sunita that you think during this time of the things that she is facing challenges, or that you think could move further, that she could move further? In terms of what she said, everybody is in this situation at the moment. So it's not just Ivanka, but what Ivanka is doing is like in the industry of food, which is the basic requirement of a human, right? And businesses like that should also keep afloat and should get those kind of support in terms of what she is suggesting.
Ivanka, I probably have to think a little bit more, you know, specifically to the industry where you are. But one thing which is coming top of my mind is that at the moment, government tenders are open for school lunches.
Yes.
So that is something I think would be great if you would be able to, you know, get into. That is like, that would be like, boom.
Boom, exactly. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I don't know if you know my name, but I work in radio. So I work on News Talk ZB in the morning, and I do the traffic reports. So, you know, working early hours of the morning and running my business, you know, I can definitely see the potential there, and I would love to work with the community, and especially children, because I think it all starts at home with the kids. And if we can educate them, you know, they can educate their parents, you know.
Absolutely.
Just
sorry to interrupt you, but the pitch, what I would be looking into more is because I know there are corporates who can come and say, hey, we will provide the lunch for school children. But here we are not only just talking about any lunch, we're talking about nutrition, we are talking about education, we're talking about hygiene. So all those practices we want from the grassroots level, and company like yours would be perfect. So it's just that how we you know, set up the proposal, and of course the compliances and all, which is the nitty-gritty of it. But something like that would be, I think, ideal. And at the moment, government is pushing quite a lot. So the range of schools are going to be wider and wider. So that would definitely, there is a gap for you to, you know, tap into.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And, you know, hygiene is, you know, a big one as well, considering we're in this current status quo with COVID. And, you know, just teaching the kids basic little things, I think will do them wonders, you know, and even it might even help them do well at school. You know, when a kid is fed in the morning first thing and has good nutritious food, and they've even made it themselves, you know, that, I mean, that is just so encouraging and so positive for them, that they will want to come to school, you know, and they will want to learn how to boil an egg, and they'll want to know how to put their wheat bix together, you know. Like fruit is another thing. Lots of kids don't eat fruit. Lots of kids don't drink water, you know, which is, it's just basic stuff that you and I and everybody else, we're lucky we have that at home. But if we can start with the children, and particularly these low decile schools, I think it'll work amazingly well.
Absolutely.
And I remember when my children were in school, you know, Subway lunches or sushi lunches, I know they are okay, but still they were more like a convenience than, like as a mother, I was never happy that today, because I was lazy and I couldn't put the lunchbox, so I got $5 and, like, you know, go and buy sushi. So as a parent, it will give me much more satisfaction that yes, my child is getting a proper lunch, a nutritious lunch, and a company who's got ethics behind, and not only just providing food is a purpose, but it's way beyond than food. And of course, we are tackling social problem as well. So I would highly encourage you to look into setting up that proposal.
Yes, well, that's why I've got my accountant behind me.
Thanks, Sunita. Thanks, Sunita. I think Amanda has got something to share, but Amanda, did you wanted to talk something, Amanda?
I just wanted to say something to Ivanka. I think it's a great company, what you're doing, because having worked in a school, I've seen those kids come to school with whatever they could grab because mum never made anything. And I think your business could grow if you partnered with someone like Plunket that deals with new mums, because I think half the problem is there's people having babies who don't even know how to parent, who don't even know how to cook for themselves, let alone a baby and then a child. And we have to give some responsibility and education to the parents so that they send their kids to school with the right damn lunch. It shouldn't be at school first.
Well said, Amanda.
I totally agree with you. Well done.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. So just coming on that, Eldred, is there something recently with this COVID-19 effect and impact that has happened that the universities are working on a research or some suggestions or tips for the government, for the industries to do?
Right. I think what has happened over the thanks for that. What has been going on, I guess, since probably the start of the year or the first quarter of the year as a result of the disruption associated with COVID is there's a bigger push in our universities, and I would like to think among other universities as well, to conduct and to think of what we call transformative research. So research with impact. And that makes a lot of sense in light of, I guess, what Ivanka has just covered, the nature of is involved with, which I can look at. Ivanka, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at this as almost a social enterprise that you are doing for social impact. And I guess, you know, turning in a margin or revenue is just a way of empowering yourself to be able to make that social impact. So we are increasingly being asked to think about that. To think about research not merely as a scholarly exercise. Sometimes we do that, we are guilty of doing that as academics, but to think of research as how do we empower communities, how do we help businesses, how do we make a real impact? So there's a real appetite, again, on our end to work with organizations such as your own one, Ivanka. I think we've just done a project where we were looking at what we're calling transformative entrepreneurship, another one in which we're looking at transformative health services in communities. So there's definitely a great appetite for this type of research where we are making real tangible impact.
Yeah.
It's all about networking, I think, at the end of the day. And I think there are a lot of businesses that could, you know, just join up and, you know, make lots of things happen. But I think people are just scared because of where they're at right now. There's not a lot of money coming in, and they're trying to all figure it out and put it all together. But I mean, this forum is amazing because, you know, we all come from different, different organizations and different places, and we've all got really great ideas. And so to encourage everybody to get involved is where it's at, I think.
I think that's, yeah, that's the reason why I think there are people in this forum at the moment like Sushil, Lux, and all they hold positions, and Harsh and Amrit, who is also a representative. And then we have got this guest of honor, Eldred, person like that, and also Sanita, who is also done. So we got a good perspective of what exactly ethnic communities are facing, or the businesses are facing, and what are our ethnic priorities. What are our priorities as a business? We are not here just to, we are also, as she mentioned, that it's more like a social enterprise, as Eldred just now mentioned to you. And I think that comes with the responsibility of social responsibility, with not just business doing, but business with social responsibility is more needed now than ever. So I think we got some good insights, good wrap up. And if anybody wants to say, just please raise your hands. I have to go to Amrit because he's, I want his input after hearing all this. That's why I kept him last.
Okay.
He's from the office communities, ethnics, and he would give us a little bit of insights as well from what after hearing all of us. But yeah, before that, anybody wants to ask anything?
Just one question. Ask to Eldred actually, because elections are around the corner, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in government, whether it's Labour or National. I suppose one thing I'm asking is, Eldred, do you think there's something missing from the COVID-19 response for small businesses that the next government can address, you know, that's missing?
That's a very good question, Sushil. If you look at what has happened, I think over the last, again, few months, I think most of the focus, and justifiably so, most of the focus has been on helping businesses survive, helping businesses weather the storm. We haven't started a robust discussion about long-term competitiveness. What are we going to do long-term about skill shortages, about productivity, about transition to a knowledge type economy, the transition to high value added services. We haven't started delving into a robust conversation about those things. And I think that's where the emphasis ought to be going forward. It's okay that we've, you know, spent a bit of, just a bit of really funding and a bit of resource base to go into, you know, helping these businesses weather the storm of now. And I think that's a great thing. That's not misplaced effort at all. That's coming.
Would this forum be a good place to start the conversation?
I think this is a good time to start the conversation. I think I've been asked to write an opinion piece about this down the stretch. So I'm looking forward to putting something out in the media at some about, you know, what we ought to be thinking about probably 6 to 9 to 18 months from today, as opposed to just between now and December or January, when borders might start to maybe open in some places. Yeah. But I think this is an opportune time for that type of conversation. It has to be had now.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Eldred. I'll give it back to you, Shailesh. Thank you very much for letting me ask a question.
No, that's good. Thanks, Sushil.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question to ask.
Yes, go ahead, Venkat.
Okay, Sushil asked about the government's election promises to bail out the small scale industries in future in view of COVID-19. Now, we discussed about the social responsibilities of multinational companies. So instead of government giving the door, why can't the multinational companies like electricity, waters, they give subsidy to small scale, and if there is any GST component, government can waive off. Don't you think if small scale entrepreneurs can get good subsidy on power, water, and other utilities, and GST component could be taken off, don't you think a moratorium like that would help the small scale business to survive for some more time?
Yeah, I take your point, Venkat. There are lots of things that as a collective or as a social concept we come up with and people can come up with. And remember, all corporate companies also have their own way of social enterprise and own way of doing social things. Whether it is food industry or any industry, they do come up with some of their own policies and own charities that they do to grow a few things. But I take your point, but this is like a point where you are suggesting on a level of high level where the government level, which is what as a petition or as a suggestion can be put through. But again, this is, you are rightly mentioned, but these are the opportunities where we can talk, we can put things in place, and we can suggest things. And as an ethnic business forum, and as a business community, and as a social responsibility, we can move forward and suggest those things. But this is just a start that we are doing it now. So it's a good feedback that you have got some suggestions. And that's what I was coming to anyway. What would be the take from this forum as a feedback that we could take it further and we could elaborate or we could expand this, you know, in terms of ideas, in terms of bouncing ideas and initiatives.
One more suggestion.
Yeah.
If all the entrepreneurs want to start their business only in Auckland, Queenstown, Hamilton, Wellington, or Christchurch, which big cities, I've lived and worked in subcontinent India, worked in Middle East, and in Africa for a long time. Of course, New Zealand is a first world country. But in these countries, the government identifies some backward area where if an entrepreneur starts something, they get benefits, including tax holidays. So government can also think about something. Yeah. Otherwise, everyone will want to start their business only in Auckland CBD or Wellington or Christchurch or Queenstown.
No, you're right. And that's probably why the regional business program that this government has started and putting funds, we have seen over a period of time was never done. But the last year and last couple of years only, they started putting money in the regions and as a regional. And that's why they have formed this regional business partners organization as well, where they can help and you can get grants and you can get compliance costs covered initially to set up your businesses in the regions. So yeah, I take your point, Venkat. There is something has already happening in that area, but yes, more can be done, more can be pushed if we come up as a forum, we come up as a business community and push this as well. So then there is an opportunity to expand that, definitely. But I think, good point, but I think we'll take it now to Amrit, who can also throw some light because he also is aware of few things that the Office of Ethnic Communities is already put some things in place and want to put in place and wants to get the feedback. So let's see and let's hear from Amrit. Amrit, sure. I'll take you, talk to you, put you in the spotlight now so we can shoot questions to you.
Business is not my specialty. I'm a senior advisor. Just to introduce myself, I'm a senior advisor working as in the community engagement space in Auckland. We are a small team of 35. If people have not probably heard of the Office of Ethnic Communities, it's part of the Department of Internal Affairs, which looks after the passports, citizenship, births, deaths, marriages, gambling, compliance, anti-money laundering, and then we are a small office there. With 8 of us here in Auckland, with a manager, and the Minister for the Ethnic Communities, Honorable Jenny Salazar. And yeah, you're right, Shailesh. This has been an interesting platform, all the more, which I'm sure would go a long way when it is connected to other mainstream business forums and networks. Just to rewind the clock, the Office of Ethnic Communities had organized something called the Ethnic People in Commerce a couple of years back, the last one being in 2017, for 5 consecutive years. And you can always understand the relevance of such networks when that started off as a small initiative by the office and went down and exploded to around 400 entrepreneurs under one roof. The last one at Sky City, a conference where it was, there were 3 speakers, between 3 to 10 speakers talking about various topics from innovation, diversity, the use of technology, and specifically connecting the small businesses to government agencies. So you never know how things can expand and how the ball keeps rolling, the momentum, basically. So I acknowledge Shailesh for, first of all, having this as a platform, the relevance of this, how it can exponentially grow with time. And that is one of our duties also as an advisor at the ground level, is to take that information back to the office, see the potential of how we could connect with other groups. And that's what I'm keenly aware of. And that's one of the things that I would probably take back to the office. Apart from my understanding, hearing the feedback from the respected participants here. So it's been very interesting, Shailesh.
Good. Yeah, so I just thought that, it would be a good start, and also from the Ethnics office point of view, like this is what you can hear firsthand information from people who are already involved in the communities from different parts, not just Auckland, Amrit, even though you are from Auckland, but you can take this as a message from people who are from Wellington, Dunedin, and hear from them and what exactly is the same situation or as per the dynamics of where they are, but the issues and the concerns that we have got or that can be engaged and make it more engagement from a ethnics office point of view, what sort of support you could come up with as well when we start this. So we are starting this as a starting point, but we would love your involvement and engagement to work together so that we can make it helpful for everyone, and not just one city, but the whole country as a nation. That's the whole idea, Amrit.
Absolutely, sir. Totally understand that. And it has to be a national approach. So point taken on board, and I'll provide the feedback back to the office. What I understand is there are certain initiatives that have been worked around economic development. So what I can do is pass the feedback back again, see whether there are opportunities from the Ministry of Business, whether there are networks that are operating pre-existing, which I don't know of, but if there are any other initiatives where the advisors there are providing sector knowledge on forthcoming initiatives by MB, I can connect the entire group there. More so also, if everybody is willing to give their email to me through Shailesh, then I put that up in our database so that you're informed not only from the business perspective, but also from the macro picture of the ethnic communities generally.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to work with that initiative, because there will be lots of initiatives that the businesses are taking as an ethnic business, but to make that happen, to make it work, and at the end of the day, it's the employment also these businesses are creating. So when these businesses are creating employment, we definitely need more support at this point of time from offices of ethnic communities, where they can suggest us, or there is a help available, or there is already some systems in place where they could have access, which they are not aware of it. And that's the whole idea, that we would like your support and engagement, Amrit, from that point of view. So we'll definitely give you all the emails and everything, and we can put on your database, because these are the community people who are already working in that space for a longer time. But now than ever more, and with, as I said, like with the social responsibilities, sub businesses like Ivanka and creatives and people like Sunita and Amanda, who are already working in that space of social responsibilities with charities and stuff, we definitely need more kind of initiatives to be supported by the ethnic office communities. That's what we would be looking at as well. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and thank you so much. So I think is anybody else has got something to say, the final word, and then I can go to Eldred and ask him. But I would definitely like also your feedback before you all go, to say something about this forum so that we know we have to keep doing this, and what else would you like to have discussions in the future forums that are coming up that we will be doing, and what you would like to see a change in that as a positive initiative. So I'll go to Eldred. What would be your last word for this forum about this initiative that we are started with, all of us who have made this happen, all of these people coming and actually showing up on this event?
All right. All right, cool. Thank you for that. So, okay, can I stick in 2 words? You said 1, right? I'm gonna two items very quickly. Okay, I guess the first one is straightforward. Please feel free to engage with me. So my name is Eldred Kaia. As you see, somebody has just corrected that, so thank you. My email is eldred.kaia@vuw.ac.nz. But if you don't recall that, don't worry, you can Google it. As long as you remember that name, if you Google it, I'll come up and you can find contact information for me. It's just the nature of the job that I work, they have to post your CV out there, whether you like it or not. So please feel free to engage with me anytime. I'm very active on LinkedIn as well. I'm happy to extend this conversation. I guess to try to further the conversation that we started today, I think one of the things that becomes very, very apparent as we get to the end of our chat tonight is, I guess, the collective knowledge that we have about very different aspects of what we are dealing with. I think we have to start to think in terms of, okay, how do we build some sort of extend, I guess, formal networks associated with what we are doing, and also maybe building some sort of repository, right? We've seen a lot of links come through here about various places where we can get different types of support. Perhaps to start considering that, how can we create collective knowledge and make that knowledge accessible to each and every one of us. And also there are very unique skill sets, right, that some have mentioned as well. I mean, we've got Ivanka in media here and social enterprise, Amanda and her, you know, tech savvy aspect that she was bringing up, and his massive experience, right, in tourism and working in different countries around the world. So I think we have to try to find a way to harness that collective knowledge and collective experience, and see how we can best leverage that and allow ourselves to put our best foot forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Eldred. What's your last word, Sunita? You being the expert of...
not really expert, but someone who really believes in groundwork. And I am always a person who looks from bottom up. So my PhD at the conclusion of it, and Mr. Kaia will agree that we always go through the contribution and policy making. Everything is nice and beautiful. It looks on paper in theory, but on the ground, always it's a different story. So what I have taken away from my research, which I'll share with you, is talking to real people, real problem, and the real solution of it. So forum like this is brilliant initiative, Salish, and I really hope that we all just keep our effort into talking to real people, listening to real problems, and then collectively finding a real solution. Not just superficial that a lot of support needed to be given, but what does that support actually look like in money terms, in action terms, in resources, what exactly it looks like. So being in touch with reality. My final words to everyone is that what I have learned through my research is that often immigrant entrepreneurs work in silos. And we need to cut that. We need to really come out of that. And if you find a person in your community, just, check and ask. It could be a staff problem. It could be a finance problem. It could be a marketing problem. And among ourselves, as Eldred pointed, that there are resources which can be utilized well. So there is no need to work alone. We are all in this together.
Right. Thank you. That's great. Excellent. Anything you want to say, Lux? You're being from Dunedin.
That's right. Thank you, Shailesh. I'm sorry I was coaching my son cricket earlier, so I couldn't introduce myself. I'm from Dunedin, president of Dunedin Multi-Ethnic Council. So since we are closing off, I won't take much of your time, but just to leave you with a little thinking that Multi-Ethnic Council, we have been getting funding from various bodies to empower the communities and businesses during COVID. And we have collectively decided that we will spend the money within the town, instead of finding the cheapest possible thing around outside New Zealand or outside the city. We will make sure that we support the local businesses in spending that money, So when we made care packages, we made sure that the ethnic communities, we give it to the ethnic communities to buy food or buy packages so that we can distribute to the community. So communities also benefit and also businesses benefit. So if you're from nonprofit and getting funding from, we've got funding from MSD and also, Office of the Ethnic Communities, Education New Zealand for foreign students and visa holders. So we try to spend the money within the city, to empower the businesses. And also innovation is very important. In my day job, I'm a product development scientist, and we do molecular diagnostics, especially bladder cancer testing. So during COVID, our business boomed because we were doing home testing. So we send out kits to collect urine to test bladder cancer. So also encourage businesses and entrepreneurs to think outside the box, outside the circle or whatever you want to call it, in terms of developing businesses. And, I didn't have to look far away. My wife during COVID started mad about saris because she was so crazy about saris. And I was very skeptic, but it just boomed. Why? Because of social media and all the platforms and people loving passion for the ethnic sort of culture, right? So I just want to leave you guys with that note. Think outside the box, support the local businesses wherever you can.
Yeah. No, well said, Lux. Yeah, so that's good that you are doing lots of things over there, as I know. So that's what, if we come collectively and if we do in our own area, but also come collectively and see what help is needed in what area, and then engage ourselves, would be a great effort from all of us. So, yeah. So anything, last word from Amrit, I would say. Amrit, can you say something about this forum that you would like to see? What would you like to have more in the future for the ethnic communities to understand that where we come from and what are our concerns or issues that we are facing and what sort of support that we need? Is there anything that you could add on to that?
Shailesh, I apologize. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just driving, so it's keeping a keen lookout for oncoming traffic. But like I said, that this is a fantastic platform to start off with, and what we can achieve is exponential growth by connecting to other mainstream organizations in the same sphere and other government agencies. So I would again encourage you to connect this group through the right means by collecting the emails, providing it to me, and then as I said, I would provide that feedback back to the office, And definitely we'll see if there are any initiatives that are there. We can keep each other updated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Amrit, for coming and joining us.
Thank you, Shailesh.
And it's good to see. And thank you all, everything once again. Thank you, Eldred. Thank you, Sunita. Thank you, Amanda. And thank you,
Oh, my
Ivanka, for
pleasure.
that great input and great insights that what we want to do. And Sushil also, thank you very much with your audio, I guess. Other than that, it was all good. Thank you very much, Venkat, for your input as well. And so as Eliza and Eva and Jade. So thank you all once again, and hope to join and hope you will hope you all love this and wanted to come back again with some another good ideas and how we can come together again.
Definitely.
So,
No, thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Right. Looking
Bye.
forward.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, Yasir.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.